Welcome to the Unlucky Sperm Club podcast, where we prove that you are not a victim of your circumstances, but a product of your choices. I am your host, Nelson Tressler. This episode of the Unlucky Sperm Club podcast is brought to you by I Got Smarter, Goals Elevated. If you're looking to increase your likelihood of achieving your life's biggest goals by as much as 95%, download the I Got Smarter app on both Apple and Android, or go to igotsmarter.com. Today's episode is a solo show, and I want to talk about one of the best concepts that I've ever learned in the personal development field. One of the concepts that has made the biggest difference in my life. One of the concepts that has helped me grow, helped me continue to become a better version of myself. And that concept is the concept of the alter ego. We've all maybe a little bit familiar with what an alter ego is. If you've read my book, I've written a chapter on the alter ego. It has made a huge difference in my life, in my family life, in my business life. It has helped me become that better version of myself as I continue to use it still today. And just a summary of what the alter ego is. We all have that version of ourselves that is perfect, that always makes the right decisions, that is always whispering in the back of our minds what we should be doing when we know we should be doing something that's either going to help us become better, further our careers, strengthen our relationships, help our health, all those things. That alter ego is that perfect version of yourself in the back of your mind, whispering, do that or don't do that. And in the I Got Smarter program, we actually develop out the alter ego. We go through and we design what our alter ego is by putting our alter ego in certain circumstances and then writing down how that alter ego would react in those circumstances. For example, let's say you're at a party and you are a shy person, but you'd like to be a little more brave. You'd like to be a little more social. You'd like to not have that fear of walking up to somebody and starting a conversation with them. So your alter ego, how do they act when they go to a party? They're brave. They're social. They're not fearful to go up and start a conversation with somebody that they want to talk to. That's how your alter ego can help you. And I use this alter ego in my life, and I talked about it, like I said, in my book. Nelson, he's kind of lazy. He takes the easy way out of a lot of situations in my life. For example, let's say I come home from work and, I had one of those days where, nothing went well. And I come home and nobody is downstairs. And I have that opportunity. I look over and I see that couch, and I look up and I see that TV, and nobody's bugging me. Nobody's asking me for anything. And Nelson will slide his butt on that couch. He'll prop his feet up. He'll turn on the remote, turn on the TV, turn the volume down so nobody can hear him. And then he'll sit there and he'll veg until somebody comes downstairs and says, "Oh, I didn't know you were here." Now, my alter ego, whose name is Fred is the perfect version of Nelson. Fred always does the right thing. So, if Nelson comes home and there's no one downstairs, Nelson might be willing to slide his butt on that couch and veg until somebody catches him. But Fred knows that upstairs is my wife, and she's been home all day long with the kids. So Fred knows that, we probably should go upstairs and say hello to my wife and see how her day has been, and maybe give her some of that adult conversation that she's been missing out on all day long. Now, in the long run, doing that is going to strengthen that relationship with my wife, as opposed as Nelson taking the easy way out, sliding his butt on the couch, turning on the remote control, and forgetting about everything else. What effect is that going to have on my relationship? Same thing with my kids. I know my kids are upstairs. They're probably in their bedroom on their phones or playing a video game. I know if I went up there, I could lay down in their bed and strike up a conversation, see how their day was, maybe, even invite them to go outside and shoot some hoops or play some cornhole, or maybe go in the batting cage, what have you. I know by doing that when I come home, that's going to strengthen those relationships, that's going to help my kids. But that's what that alter ego does. We know what we're supposed to be doing. We know what will make things better for us. And as I've said a lot in this podcast and a lot in my book and a lot in the content that I have, we don't have a knowledge problem. We have an execution problem. And that's what this alter ego, that's what this perfect version of yourself is going to help you do, is execute on those things that you know are going to make your life better, are going to make your relationships better. I mean, we can use this alter ego in every area of our lives. Who of us have not been laying in bed and that alarm clock goes off and we reach over and we start to hit snooze for 9 more minutes of sleep, when we know we need to get up and get out the door to do whatever it is, whether it's working out, whether it's getting to the office to prepare for a meeting, whatever it is, we've all been there. Now, your alter ego, it's perfect. It would never dream of hitting snooze. Your alter ego would bounce out of bed and get to your day and do the things that they know are going to make your life better and make your day better. Your alter ego can be used when you're driving to work or driving to wherever you want to do. Maybe somebody cuts you off. Now, you might be willing to speed up in front of them, brake check them, flip them off, whatever you would be willing to do, but your alter ego would take the high road. Your alter ego would understand that, hey, you know what, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Who knows, they might be late for a meeting. They might be headed to see somebody who's sick. Your alter ego will always make those correct decisions. And my alter ego, Fred, you know what? Sometimes I like him because he does help me become that better version of myself. But most of the time, I don't like Fred. Fred is always whispering in my ear the things that I know I should be doing, but that I don't want to do. When I put that piece of trash in the trash can and the trash can is flooding over with trash, Nelson is one to, put the trash in there, push it down so that he can get the lid on the trash can closed. Fred, he understands, okay, the trash can's full. I'm going to change the bag, take it out to the curb, and do what is right. Using this alter ego, I've used this alter ego for years and years. And what I've realized is we're never the same version of ourselves. Regardless, we're either getting better or we're getting worse, but we're not staying that same version of ourselves. And as I continue to make those alter ego decisions, I become more like Fred. I become more like that better version of myself as I really think about that and kind of call upon Fred to help me make those decisions. Another thing that I've realized when I use my alter ego is I don't need my alter ego all the time. I need my alter ego from about 5 seconds to about 30 seconds to make those tough decisions. And I call those instances phone booth moments. There's those phone booth moments throughout our day where we're either going to do what we know we need to do. We're going to make that correct decision. We're going to make that choice that is going to make us a better person, or we talk ourselves out of it and we don't do what we know we need to do. But once you make that decision within that first 5 to 30 seconds, the decision is made. You don't need as much willpower to continue on as you did to actually make that decision. You need that one phone booth moment where you crawl in there and you take off those glasses, you put on the cape, and now I've made that decision. Now it's easier. Once you've made the decision to get out of bed, get dressed, get in your car and go to the gym, it's a lot easier after you've gotten out of bed. It's not like you're fighting yourself driving to the gym where you keep wanting to make a U-turn to go back and crawl into bed. You've made that decision. And that's where this alter ego can really help you, is in those 5 to 30 seconds when you're making those tough decisions. Now, I've heard from people as I've tried to explain this concept to them and try to have them use it to benefit them in their lives. I get that feedback about, well, I want to be myself. This feels like I'm faking it. This doesn't really feel like who I am. And I want to spin that around a little bit. I want you to look at it from a different angle. I want you to look at, what if this alter ego, this more perfect person, what if that's really the person that you are? And the alter ego is the one that you're really making all of your choices with and your decisions with. What if, because of fear, bad circumstances, your upbringing, what if because of all of those circumstances, we've pushed down that person that we really are inside, that brave person, that person who is willing to do those tough things, to live that life that they want to live? What if that's the person we really are, and we're living the life of that alter ego that we don't want to be? Look at it that way, because I think in a lot of cases, that is the case, is we've pushed down that alter ego and we won't let that person out. That's the person we really are. You know what? Who's the alter ego? Is it Superman or is it Clark Kent? The alter ego is Clark Kent. Clark Kent is the personality that Superman uses to fit in, to blend in, to not stand out. Clark Kent doesn't want to bring notice to himself. He has on those glasses and he hides behind those glasses, and he's just there blending in with everybody else. But the person that Clark Kent really is Superman. It's the man of steel. It's the person who can fly. It's the person who can stop a locomotive. It's the person who's faster than a speeding bullet. But as long as Clark Kent's there, trying to blend in, trying to not draw attention to himself, Superman might as well not exist, right? And I would challenge you to flip this around. Are you holding back the superhero that lives inside of you? I guarantee you that you are. Those 5 seconds of being brave, of becoming that superhero that is in there, in whatever situation that is. We need to understand we are that superhero. That alter ego is the person that we are capable of becoming. It's that version of ourselves that we want to become. We're not faking it by using an alter ego. It's the exact opposite. We're becoming that person that we were meant to become. We're not allowing fear to hold us back anymore. We're not allowing our upbringing to hold us back anymore. We're not allowing the circumstances that we're in to hold us back from becoming that superhero that lies within us. This concept of alter ego will change your life. Become that superhero. Become that person that you know that you can become. Become that different version of yourself. As I said here talking to you today, the version of Fred from years and years and years ago, Nelson has surpassed that version, that perfect version of Nelson from years and years ago. Because every time that you make those superhero type decisions, that you choose to be that alter ego, it's like a muscle. And at first, it's hard to use that alter ego. It's hard to make those decisions. But just like any time you use a muscle, the more that you use it, the more that you exercise it, the easier it gets to use it. And the easier it is to become that alter ego, to become that superhero. And the next time that you need it, you don't have to try as hard. It comes out a little bit easier and a little bit easier. And then what you realize is you're not having to call upon that alter ego to make decisions anymore that maybe you had to a month ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, because you've become a better version of yourself. You're becoming closer to what that alter ego represents. And now all of a sudden your standards, your version of that better version is so much further ahead. Now we're shooting to become something that we maybe couldn't have even imagined. Maybe you're fearful of public speaking. I know a lot of people are, and you've used that alter ego to get out there and maybe it's getting on a Zoom call and speaking up at a Zoom call. And then it was leading a Zoom call. And then maybe it was doing a Facebook Live. And then maybe it was you actually are giving a speech. You've become that better version because you've used that alter ego to become the person that was inside of you that you kept pushing down every time they reared their head. The concept of alter ego is a simple one. It's setting down and designing that version of yourself that you want to become. And then whenever that situation pops up its head, it's having that faith to call upon that alter ego and to do what you think that alter ego would do in that situation. And the more that you do that, the easier it becomes. And the easier it becomes, the closer you become to becoming that version of yourself. Use this concept. It will change your life. It will turn you into a better version of yourself. And that better version of yourself will have a lot more likelihood of accomplishing all of your dreams and your goals. It has made a huge difference in my life. I am definitely not the same person I was when I came across this concept and as I tried to use that concept. Thank you for listening to the Unlucky Sperm Club podcast, where we prove that you're not a victim of your circumstances, but a product of your choices. We'd like to thank all of our listeners. We'd also like to ask you to, if you've liked what you've heard, subscribe to our podcast and like us if you're watching this on Facebook. Until next time, don't let your past poison your potential or your life's purpose. Know that better times are ahead. Until next time, be lucky.